The following podcast contains spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to Animated Anarchy, the show that takes a critical look at animated films of all kinds to determine the good from the bad. Hi, I'm Andrew.
Michael Ruocco.
And we're with Jacob Strick.
And Zoe, his fiance.
I was going to wait for you to say something like silly, but then I was going to go, then Zoe Moss.
Zoe. Wait, what did you say, Zoe?
My fiance.
Yay!
yeah.
Congratulations!
Yeah, if you've been following this podcast, we've gone from dating to betrothed.
Yeah, you're part of the show now. You've been on the here for so long.
Thank you.
You're a part of the Animated Anarchy family.
We're a growth that keeps on giving.
Yeah, and the Jetsons
that keeps
movie
on growing.
is really significant because it was our first date.
No.
No.
No, that was the Haunted Mansion movie.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Murphy?
That's another show.
That was the first movie you saw together?
Truly a test of
Oh my God, really?
We're still together.
That movie sucks.
Yes, we know.
How are we to know?
That would ruin, like, if I was dating someone, I brought him to that movie, we would never see each other again. That goes to show that love truly does conquer all.
My one takeaway from that film isn't even from the film; it's from the trailer. It's hold on to something, and then with what? She has no arms.
Ah, yes. Anyway, we're not talking about the Haunted Mansion.
No.
We have a very interesting movie from our wonderful past. I would say, like, I have like a very personal history. No, I have like a very personal history with this movie, considering that I saw it in the theaters when I was a kid, and I told you guys before that I don't even remember if this was like my first movie I've ever seen in the theater, or if it was like it was either Land Before Time or
this.
this or actually The Secret of Nim. So it was some Don Bluth movie.
Do you hate all these movies?
No, or the Tom and Jerry movie. Dear God.
No, because if it was Secret of Nim, you wouldn't have been alive.
What?
That's like 81.
Oh, that wasn't in the theater, was it?
No. That was the secret.
Maybe it was Tom and Jerry.
Probably
I mistook it for The Secret of
Now
Nim.
I'm curious. You said what was your first movies when you saw in theaters?
Yeah.
Well, the first I don't remember.
That you can remember. That's the thing. I don't remember either. I just remember I saw this in theaters.
I just know that the first film my parents ever took me to see was Batman, and they said it was very well behaved.
Yeah, Milo and Otis over here.
Mine was
Really, Milo and Otis?
according to my mom. She came and visited last week, and I was asking her, like, what was the first movie I saw, and she said it was Fievel Goes West. Huh. And she said I was the only kid who was actually watching the screen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was gonna say, Zoe, it's like if your parents went to go see Batman, it wasn't for you. It was just like they couldn't find a babysitter. They were just like, we have to bring the kid with us to Batman. But you were very well behaved.
You
didn't cry at all.
Cute kid too.
I'm glad we stopped and picked up tape on the way to the movie theater.
Oh, like I can't remember the. Oh man, now I gotta do some research.
Yeah, in my mind.
Yes.
You know,
Well-
it really brings to mind that any film can be someone's first film, and for some of us, it was the Jetsons movie.
But we're still not sure if it was
But
Andrew's.
maybe it's
because
like
it wasn't memorable.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we can take away from this is that it was sadly not very memorable. This is the Jetsons movie.
Hello.
From the 80s, or like what this was released
90.
like 90. Yeah. Technically 80s. This is like on the back end of the 80s.
The bad decisions were made in the 80s.
Yeah,
So
if
it's
anyone remembers
and
the early
prolonged
90s, it was just the 80s again.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the 90s began in America, the 80s began in Canada. So
Deke.
But so I guess we should get into this, I suppose.
I think we've gone into as far as we could.
Well, all right, should we just go on with the story, because I don't really have any anecdotes.
In the words of Elroy, let's go up and in.
Wait,
What's from the movie?
First of all, you have to understand that this is a movie based on a pre-existing TV show about the first 20 minutes are just like, remember the thing they did on the TV show? Well, here it is on the big screen.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's basic. Well, it opens up with like the dark inner workings of a factory that we have not really. Well, they establish it. It's like spacely sprockets, something orbital.
There's a bunch of delicious looking sprockets all over the place.
They look like cookies on a belt. But
yeah, those things do not look like they're made of metal. They look like they're cookies.
Yeah,
it's just bite them.
Especially because they literally just they literally just take a press and. That's one of the monsters from the movie.
Frank Welker, everyone.
Frank Welker is in the room
in
today.
the audience.
Yeah, of course. He needs to say something. Sorry, that's my cat Silvio. And
no, it's one of the creatures.
Yes, one of the. Oh, yes, it's one of the
Manchi cheese.
Okay, every time they said the name of the creatures,
Paw Bears.
I still couldn't figure out what they were.
What were they called?
The Gungas.
I thought it was.
I thought they were called
the Scrunchies,
the
Grunchies.
The
Grunchies.
They did not enunciate.
It sounds like what happens after you have the munchies. And
I have the crinkles, guys.
The crunchies.
Yeah, that's what happens after the munchies. It's like
the grunchies.
It's like, oh man, guys, I got the grunchies.
I had too many munchies. Now I got the scrunchies.
The scrunchies.
The scrunchies.
And I'm gonna lie in the bed.
But we just see them as shadows, like in the beginning of this.
And they play the footage again, like the same shots again, like 30 minutes in the movie.
I feel like it was originally supposed to be in the middle of the movie, and then they says like, oh, we got to establish something. So instead of like the cold opening of the actual opening of the Jetsons show, which is what it really turned into, it was just like the theme song, da-na, da-na, like, oh my god, the Jetsons, yeah, they're on the big screen, hooray! And then we watch it and we're like, is this an episode?
Yeah, because the story doesn't really promise anything. Like, it's not going anywhere. So yeah, they have to put in that scene to say, look, there's a point to all this.
Yeah. But I don't know what it is.
And everything else that follows is just the denial of any pleasure. Every character doesn't get what they want.
Oh, that's
Everyone
true.
is miserable.
That's
true. Yeah, this movie has like 3 openings. So it has like that opening with the factory, then the opening standard Jetsons opening, and then the opening with Rosie where we're like the establishing is like, oh, here's the dark smoggy
everyone's
area.
Dying in their sleep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. It's like the smoke from your car exhaust in the garage, and it's like, what? Overnight they're just sleeping in their beds, and if it wasn't for the robot, they'd probably all be dead and wouldn't get any like
I had a
fresh
very
air.
grim realization, because the thing that makes Rosie realize that they have to move the house up so they can all breathe
is the bird in the coal mine.
It's a canary. It's a fucking robot.
Oh yeah,
canary.
It's the canary.
That is so fucked up.
Can we talk about the Ted Turner connection here?
Yeah. Well,
he loves.
I mean, yeah, Ted Turner. I guess he was like deep in the pockets of Hanna-Barbera at the time.
He was deep in the dark web.
Dad's puppet.
Well, it's like, I mean, I always give Ted Turner credit because he brought us Cartoon Network and everything. But around this time, he was so obsessed with bringing like environmental message cartoons everywhere he went. I mean, that's why we got Captain Planet.
Like Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Forest was another one.
Fern
Gully.
Hey, Willikers, we should watch that.
Which?
Once Upon a Forest.
Oh yeah.
Furlings.
That'll be Furlings.
That'll be the day.
Yeah.
That
But yeah, we start off basically in this smog-ridden area. We still don't see the bottom of this city. Wherever, I mean, there's still like
Detroit.
There's still like.
Is there a bottom?
Is there a bottom?
Is hell all there is?
Yeah, there's like this dystopian, like apocalyptic, like area.
I remember coming up with an idea for a short, and I'm like, I'm not going to animate this. It's the beginning of the Jetsons where he's on the treadmill. Jane, stop this crazy thing. He falls off the treadmill and falls, and he wakes up in sand. And he gets up, and then the wacky races come driving in, and it's like Mad Max, and they strap him to the front like a blood bank, and then like Dick Dastardly and Muttley takes out a spray can, sprays his teeth. And then they just drive away, and that's the end. And you find out that it's just a Mad Max world below where George Jetson lives.
Pretty much.
That would be cool.
I like to imagine that the Jetsons are not really in the future. They just they've just decided to create buildings that are above everyone who are on Earth, like in the modern age, and they're just like have not even cared or thought about whatever happens in the bottom.
The poor people who live on the surface world,
which are the Flintstones.
They can't see anything in the hideous poisonous gas clouds. So that means that they're bumping into these huge pillars.
Well, Rosie basically just
hurting themselves.
Rosie basically looks at this bird and is like, "Oh, Polly, want a gas mask?" And then she presses a button which rises up all of the buildings up above the cloud. They don't even address this. They don't even say it's like, "Oh God, that smog is getting worse."
Yeah.
And there's not really any sort of message to it. It's just
it never resolves itself.
No, it's just
creepy.
Yeah, it's just
it's ominous.
Well, let's forget about this and just keep rising above it.
Here's another thing I noticed and then immediately forgot because my train of thought just immediately went off. But it was about the shit. It was about the whole just the universe that the Jetsons live in.
Yeah.
I've lost it.
It's okay, Mike. It'll come back.
Won't long.
It won't matter.
But so we're moving on from that, and then
I remember what I was about to say. That now that we live in this,
better have a payoff.
No, I noticed because at the beginning of this movie, I noticed I'm like maybe the Jetsons we're starting to slowly turn it like the Jetsons is the future. Like it doesn't seem like it is, but now it is because in the morning George just eats a stick of butter for breakfast. Which I know people who actually have butter for breakfast.
Yeah,
I've actually met people who eat butter. Like they'll cut.
That's a great cereal.
Butteros.
Butterballs.
Butterios.
You drink the milk when you're done.
That's what the milk turns into.
It turns yellow in the bowl.
How long did you leave this milk out?
It's not bad milk. It's good butter.
Margarine.
Most of this opening is it's just introductions and farewells. It's here's your family. Goodbye, family.
But what's awful is just how much George gets hurt. And he really likes it when there's air being blown up his crotch.
I forgot about that.
It's on the record.
He hates it when he's getting washed because he's being twisted and turned and we don't see what's going on. And then
he's basically in an open air washing machine.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that recording session. Ooh.
Oh, God.
So George,
someone mixed up the pleasure machine with the washing machine.
George Likey.
And George goes to work and he has to deal with traffic.
Yeah,
and then he
listens to Rick Dees is on the radio or the video phone,
video DJ,
and he's talking to George.
Sorry, George.
Sorry, George. I believe. Yeah, you're stuck in traffic again. So what happens is he gets stuck in traffic. And then he comes up with the scheme. He's like, it's time to put on my inflatable cop, like policeman. And then he does the whole woo woo.
Beautiful Glenn Kennedy bullshit animation.
We're gonna get into that in a minute because this movie is this is all TV animation.
Is all over the place.
Yeah, the animation is all over the place, but it's animation you recognize, especially around the time because these were in TV shows everywhere.
Yeah.
Amazing that George can only conjure an inflatable cop when his boss can make a dozen of his heads appear out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, it's like where he can place monitors where there are no monitors.
Oh, that was so weird.
That was really creepy. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So yeah, I just want to say George gets through traffic with this inflatable cop, and then an actual cop stops him, tells him to pop his.
Doesn't tell him. He just gives him a pin.
He just gives him a pin.
Which is probably the best part of acting in any animated film ever.
I'm surprised that he doesn't just pop it. It's no, this is your journey.
Wow.
You need to do it. It's up to you. It's
this is your hero.
It's like he's giving the shotgun to the kid who needs to shoot Old Yeller. It's like,
Your cop's
gotta take him out
really
back
weird.
and just shoot him.
The rest of the film takes place in that popping moment.
But I don't want to. I don't want to pop him.
That's the thing that bothers me is that he pops it and then like the announcer goes, "Sorry, George," and he's like, "Oh shit," and then he just leaves.
Yeah, he
doesn't
just
get a ticket. The cop, he just leaves the cop in the lurch.
Well,
and then
his
goes
job
to work.
is like right around the corner.
You know, it's almost like they could have removed that scene without it mattering.
Yeah,
Without
well,
it smattering.
it was more like this is a joke of the Jetsons.
This is such a joke.
This is such a Jetsons thing. And now he's at work. He Glenn Kennedy's his car into a box and then just like sits back, presses a button, and then
I hate Glenn Kennedy animation so much.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I hated it.
I found that even when it was at its worst, at least it was still more appealing looking than some of the other stuff.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I mean, I can understand they're trying to do the best that they can with it. It just looks very weird.
It's like,
especially if you don't know,
everything looks like it's made out of rubber latex.
If you don't know what Glenn Kennedy animation is, if you
watch a
you're lucky. You're a lucky person. You don't know what it is.
It's Mike's favorite.
Basically,
shut up.
Basically, play this episode backwards. He says, "I love Glenn Kennedy."
Like that.
Basically, watch an episode of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, and also they're in episodes of Tiny Toons. You'll notice them because the characters will constantly float from the ground as they're talking.
No.
And then they will do like
a dance,
strange dance and kicks, like
the kick dance.
Yeah, the Glenn Kennedy kick is basically one of the best things that we could ever witness.
It's an animator's mating dance.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I need to see it later just so I can
Right.
do
Oh, it looks like
it.
this. If you're watching me now,
oh no!
I'm doing the
Nobody
kick dance.
could physically do this. No one can physically
I'll get
dance like a Glenn Kennedy.
Some poor soul made a compilation of all the Kennedy kick dances into one video.
Oh, I gotta see that.
And we'll watch it after we finish.
It's like
this.
all the characters in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo had like I guess they
Yes.
wanted to give them like Peanuts dances, where it was like you know how the Peanuts and like that classic song like da, 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 and all the characters had like their own dance. Like one would just shimmy back and forth.
One was walking like a zombie in place.
Yeah, that was
Head
basically
down.
what those were for A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. All the characters had like their own weird dance, and they were all like weird arm movements that would just like.
Audience, I wish you could see what Andrew's doing right now.
It looks like he's swimming through Jello backwards.
What a scoop!
Back to the movie.
Yes. Anyway, back to the movie.
This hideous movie.
So yeah, George. Then we meet Mr. Spacely, voiced by Mel Blanc.
A suffering Mel Blanc.
Suffering Mel Blanc.
Is it Blanc or Blanc?
Between him, blank.
Okay.
As in
in France, they're blanc.
But yeah, it's him and
A struggling to breathe.
like Mel Blanc apparently would have a cigarette in one hand and an oxygen gas mask in the other hand, and like be like Jetson. And then like
they brought back most of the cast for this,
which was a bad idea,
except for
Janet
Waldo, who was Judy Jetson.
Except if you watch the the credits, as we did for some reason,
she's credited in it.
I mean, maybe okay.
Yeah, I think she was credited in there just for the sake of.
Was she
crediting
at
her
one point doing Judy's voice, and then the producer...
I think that's what happened. I think that's probably what happened. They probably had her do it, and then they
God.
had Tiffany dub over it.
Tiffany.
Like, wow, man.
Yeah. Tiffany
totally bonkers.
And what did you say? What was the song that she was known for? The one hit.
We're alone now.
No, but what was the song that you think?
What was her hit song? Like her number one hit song?
I think we're alone now.
Yeah, but what was the song?
That is the.
I can keep singing it. Really. Just give me a chance.
Yeah.
This hurts.
Well, yeah. I guess at some point they decided like, hey, we need a pop star in this movie. Let's.
What a weird definition.
Who can we get at such a short amount of time? Tiffany. All right. What do you do? You're a pop star, Brooke. Come on in. You're Judy.
And the thing about it is that what did I say about her delivery in this movie? That she sounds like just a female Garfield.
Yes, she has.
Wait. I thought that you said that Jane Jetson looked like a female Garfield.
No. Well,
well, no. Judy. Judy, who is voiced by Tiffany, sounds older than Jane Jetson.
Yes.
And Jane sounds like 85 years old, too.
And
but looks great.
Come on.
She looks great.
Honestly, I don't really hear it's that, but
Jane is saying like,
clearly,
George, why won't you join my recycling? And then Tiffany's like, wow, man, I can't act, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
It's like her. I think the reason why
Tiffany's. Guys, we're going now.
Hey,
Tiffany sounds.
Tiffany.
Alphanumeric.
Tiffany sounds. Tiffany sounds old because her voice is a little lower, and she says everything 5 times slower than anyone else.
She does.
It's weird.
She has she's the person sadly with the least amount of energy in this movie. Everyone else was super. Like, how old was George O'Hanlon when they brought him in here?
Well, this movie killed him.
And
Mel Blanc.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, we need to bring up the fact that George O'Hanlon and Mel Blanc. This was like their last role,
their
both final role
in memorandum.
In fact, with George O'Hanlon, he had a stroke halfway through recording the movie. So while recording, like in the recording booth, he had the stroke.
Yeah.
Right. George.
They didn't use those takes.
God damn it, Andrew. No, but and then they had to like feed him lines, and then he had to almost parrot them back.
Oh my god, that's awful.
Yeah, and that's pretty sad. And like what we said, Mel Blanc was like smoking Jim.
Was this after his coma?
Oh yeah, long after, because he had a coma when he was doing the Flintstones.
Oh yeah.
That was back in the 60s.
Amazing that you could voice act in a coma.
Well, laugh.
Well, for a whole
boy.
season of the Flintstones, for like the second season, he literally had to record in his hospital bed lying on his back.
Oh.
So if you watch any second season of Flintstones, you hear him going, "Gee, Fred," he's laying on his back with casts all over his body.
But that was like
the more you know.
But after his coma, that's when he changed the voice of Barney too, right?
Yeah,
because like he thought because at first like Barney had like, hey Fred, how's it going? That kind of voice, right? Why does he sound
like a woodchuck? Well, he was more like a, "Gee, Fred," like that kind of.
Yeah,
"Hey, Fred, what
he
you
had
up to?"
like a more higher pitched nasally voice.
Frosty,
and it's just kind of
it's Rockapulco, Fred. It's a Spanish speaking city, like that kind of.
And then just kind of turned into this.
The version we all know and love.
Yeah.
It only took a coma to do it.
Anyway, enough desecrating these poor voice actors' lives.
We love them.
Yes, we do. We sincerely. But you can tell sometimes in the line delivery is like when they changed actors because someone had to fill in for Mel Blanc. Someone had to fill in for Mel Blanc, and you could clearly tell it was another voice actor. Same with George. Yeah.
With George.
Jorge.
Same with Jorge Jetson.
Yes, like. It brought in Jorge Jetson.
Hey Jay, meet my cousin Jorge Jetson.
I wish my brother Jorge was here.
Oh no, we can't do this.
But yeah, most of the cast was
We're
like
just finding
returned
reasons
for
to
this.
like not talk about this movie.
I wonder why.
Elroy.
Oh, Elroy is not played by Dawes Butler for some reason. It's played by
Patrick Zimmerman,
and he's such a little shit too.
Oh yeah,
am I allowed to say that on TV?
Well, yeah. Well,
but on the podcast,
on TV, no, but
on the podcast.
But yeah, Elroy is kind of, there's that trope of where it's like, my dad's not here to watch me play the big game because he's too busy trying to provide for our family, the motherfucker.
What's even weirder is like
I'm gonna show him one.
Elroy is disturbed and upset that his dad doesn't show up, but isn't actually upset at his dad until 20 minutes later.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
Yeah, it's almost
it comes out of nowhere.
There's a weird like mid section to this where there's a problem at the plant. Okay, there's a problem at the Spacely plant.
Trouble at the mill.
Where they're in trouble at the mill.
Ruocco. And this is so.
Yipe!
And so Spacely basically, I guess the robot can't push a button because
No, he doesn't want to because he has free will.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
What? I didn't even catch that.
No, he doesn't want to because he doesn't want to die.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Self-preservation.
So basically, everyone who is there, the only person who's actually work there is a person who presses the button, and they're all vice presidents. And they lost 4 vice presidents.
But how? Did they quit or did they die?
I think they died.
They mysteriously
What killed them?
disappear.
Did the little Manchi
No,
kill them?
they ran away
Yeah.
and then died mysteriously.
from unrelated causes.
They were popped by
At least
cops.
that's what Spacely Sprockets says in there.
It's a lie he's not letting on.
Why
Yeah.
isn't there a dossier on those that they could
Blow
check?
the whole thing wide open.
That would have been a million times more interesting if George was like, suddenly, what's killing everyone? I have to look. And then he, like, murder mystery, looks into it, gets Sprocket or whatever,
He
put
finds
in
out that
jail.
there's a
Gazer
point,
beam.
and at the end of the movie, he's on a stretcher and he's yelling, "Spacely Sprockets is people." And he's covered in blood.
Spacely Sprockets is made of people!
George!
George.
Oh, they didn't
Stop
change
this.
the recipe like they said they would.
Stop that crazy thing.
They moved the headstones.
Yes, stop the crazy thing.
They moved the sprockets, but I don't know what else.
Oh, yeah. They moved the sprockets, but they didn't move the bodies.
Which kind of happens, actually, but...
That's later.
Yeah.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves again.
So anyway, yeah, Spacely basically devises a plan. It's like, I need someone stupid and that
Malleable.
expendable.
the audience.
No, and then he has his secretary do this
Who's a hot
weird
rose.
this weird MS Paint
Like
like
piece of tin.
someone had to draw an elephant holding a peanut in MS Paint
there
and then
is
put it
some-
onto a cell.
There is some Georges art in this movie.
By the way, if you can find out who did that art, please send mail to Animation Anarchy, P.O. Box.
No, like, I love the weird MS Paint art in that section because it's such a break from the monotonous, like, hideous...
Well, there's also like very like of the time CG.
Oh my God.
very noticeable.
Especially the bouncy Jetsons car, and then they have to animate the Jetsons
it's stuff that
dancing
you
inside
really
the car.
recognize. It's like I had a tape of just like film festival CG
Yay.
cartoons, and they were all basically tech demos. And some of them were shorts, like they actually had a story and everything to them. And some were impressive, but some were just like, yeah, it was like Lawnmower Man, just like shapes moving back and forth through time and space. And this was like...
This circle is now a square.
Yeah, this is stuff that you would basically just light a blunt and go like, whoa, man, this is our future.
This was the 90s. We had Dare.
We had to take that shit.
But yeah, there was like, there's a bunch of CG stuff in this, which is...
Well, every exterior shot of a location that they can do in CG, they do in CG. And it...
You could literally see
the whole place that they moved to.
You could literally see crimped, like you know, like when you watch Toy Story and you see the crinkle mouth on Buzz Lightyear.
Oh right, yeah, that weird,
the
weird polygons that just kind of go everywhere.
There's something almost endearing about that, but that's when Pixar does.
Yeah, but like when the
Jetsons do it, and it's not even talking.
They literally can't make a round shape because every round shape has flat edges on it going around it because it's such low poly.
Right.
And even the background, which is just space, you could tell that it's just a curved piece of geometry with the image pasted on top of it.
Yeah.
It looks like they're in a giant room.
Well, have you ever been to
Instead of in
space?
space.
Do you know what it looks like?
Yeah. Well, if you can't tell by now, Spacely tells Jetson that he has to move to this place.
He's the vice president.
He's the vice president.
There's a
and
shot of like when
George
it's like,
looking
Jetson,
brain dead.
And then Jetson comes down, and
His feet come down.
and there's just this awful shot of his feet.
Yeah, there's some like weird framing in this.
There are bad choices.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments where the framing is so bad that the tops of people's heads are cut off at the top of the screen.
Now, is that actually the DVD or the movie?
No, because the DVD is actually like widescreen.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's widescreen. So it's still like they still have these weird cutoffs. So I don't understand what those even if it wasn't cut off, I don't think it would like cut off the sides of it, wouldn't it? Not like the tops. But either way, yeah, there's some weird issues in staging. But yeah, so George basically tells his family, like, we gotta move. And everyone comes home. Yeah, everyone comes home and they're all like, oh yeah, Judy went to a Cosmic Cosmo.
What about my date?
Lower, Jake. Lower.
Cosmic Cosmo.
Well, I mean, like Elroy.
Date.
Elroy
John. I gotta kick Odie off the table.
Elroy
Not one of George's finer moments.
You know what? Let's just keep going.
But yeah, either way, like, what about my
sad.
date?
Yeah,
Elroy's sad. Judy's sad.
No, Judy's happy.
Oh, Judy is
happy until the news because it's like, oh God, we're moving. What about my date
with the guy I just met?
Yeah, the
number 78 of all the boyfriends.
Because later
on
she says it's her boyfriend.
Judy.
They haven't even dated. They haven't even dated yet. So
really, they were on the same side of that, oval-looking thing.
That's one of the greatest thing I observed about the Cosmic Osmo,
Cosmic Cosmo,
the concert is that he's on this platform where it's like shining on the bottom and like bright yellow on the top, but it's like there's no in between when it moves up and down. It's just like it's either the bottom or the top, and there's never like a mid like transition between top and bottom. So it constantly pops back and forth where it's like suddenly the feet are there, suddenly the feet are gone, suddenly the feet are there.
And isn't that true love, Andrew?
It happens so goddamn often. It's like put at least one in between there, for God's sakes.
No.
But anyway, that was just like something I noticed. But all the family is upset, but then they're happy because it's like
for Judy.
Well, yeah, except for Judy, and for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like a mall.
They have this really long like
dancing in the car scene.
Oh God.
With that extended Elroy shot.
The
so
Elroy
80s.
shot.
I love that song. It's so 80s.
The Elroy shot.
Happy, confused, rubs eyes, points.
Teeth. It's such a
it is.
I hate that shot.
Along with the druggy looking Astro.
Poor Astro.
Yeah.
They had to drug him so he would behave in the car.
Yeah.
There's like along the back.
There are scenes of animation in this where it's like we can recognize there's Glenn Kennedy, there's David Feast, there's
a monster.
Star Tunes.
Yeah.
We could recognize like who did what in this. So it was like to us this is very recognizable. But I mean this has got to be very confusing for someone who does not know about this stuff.
I had to do some research because of this film recognized Kennedy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty onto Dave. Is it Feast?
David Feast. Yeah, he's the guy who made Cow and Chicken,
which I love. So that's why I know what to look for with him. But I don't know what Star Tunes looks like.
Yeah, Star Tunes it's hard to explain, but they have like they have a very good sense of keeping like the it on model.
Okay.
And then it's like they have like very poppy movements. Okay. So
and a lot of times they'll draw shiny pupils.
Yeah.
They like to draw shiny pupils.
I do like Star Tunes though. You could probably see like a couple episodes of Tiny Toons, and you could point out which ones were done by which studio.
Like the one of Baby Plucky with the water go down the hole.
Yeah,
that's a Star Tunes one.
Yeah, they have very specific fists and finger points.
You know, the worst part of this is now I want to watch the film again and see if I can recognize.
Yeah.
But
there's some very good moments of animation in this.
And then there's the neighbors.
Then the neighbors.
Yeah, when they arrive,
It's so mad.
Not one set of neighbors shows up,
but two.
Two sets of neighbors show up. And for all purposes, I have no idea what their purpose other than they are there. But it's like, well, it's like
well said.
First,
the film is 12 minutes short. Barbara, what do we do? Add something fuzzy. I don't know.
Yeah, so the first set of neighbors is the robot lady, who is the wife.
I love the robot lady.
Yes, she's very
that mouth.
She's very nice, but that mouth, even though it's supposed to have like dimension and shape, it goes everywhere. It turns from like two flaps into just like a rectangle
to a triangle.
To like that is bigger than the flaps would allow, and then it's.
Now, question about her voice, because I know
But I mean, the robots are very like
Yeah.
rubbery anyway. It's cartoony.
The voice of I don't know anyone's name. The voice of that robot lady. It sounds really familiar. I think it's the waitress from Emperor's New Groove.
It's on IMDb. It's Patty Deutsch.
What is Patty Deutsch then?
Patty.
We're gonna take a Patty Deutsch break now.
Oh look!
Oh, she was in Emperor's New Groove.
Yes,
Woo,
I was like
hallelujah.
Mazel Tov. She's the waitress.
Thank you. She's also Tantar's mom, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Wow, stealing the show.
I'm honey.
Don't talk to the other elephants.
That's nice, honey.
I know piranhas in Africa.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell George that.
But so yeah, then you have the robot neighbor.
Thank you for looking that up.
And then
Meet the robots.
It's the
Elroy comes home with this diseased monster that looks like him.
It looks like a cross between. I said it's either two things. One, it's the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who from the Grinch absorbed into one Barney Rubble shaped creature.
Yeah.
It's just a fuzzy Barney Rubble with Webby from DuckTales' voice.
Yes.
It looks like Stephen King when he's covered in moss.
Ooh. And what are the
Rusty Taylor,
the
by the way.
Fuzzykins?
Yeah.
The Fuzzykins.
I don't know. It was something analogous to like if we were called the Fleshy Poos. You are what you eat.
Well,
I would watch
Judy-
that, by the way.
Judy makes a great. Now here's the one thing. When these like furry creatures show up, which are the other neighbors, Brad Garrett voices the father.
And probably one of his earliest roles.
Yeah, and it's like, you must come over to our place at some point. We play this music. It's a lot of drums and everything. And then they point out that
I love
Fergie.
that voice that you just did. It's really.
Fergie, well, the littler one, they says like, oh yeah, Fergie's a girl, and then Rosie throws in the shade and goes
How
like,
can you
how
tell?
can you tell, Rosie?
Where did that even come from?
Yeah, it's
I feel
like wow.
When a robot does it, it's called clink shaming.
I feel like Rosie should get turned off for that. Or like,
I love Rosie. Rosie's a great, but damn.
Rosie comes from she was programmed before PC. Oh no, that's a horrible joke.
Programmed before PC.
No, bad. So.
But yeah, it's like, but Judy makes a good point when they leave. George goes like, wow, they're really strange. And then Judy says,
or Jane.
I wonder what Jane. Is it Jane? Jane, his wife. Yes, that's right.
Judy, his wife. Jane, his wife.
That's why the theme song exists.
You know, when I can't remember your names, I think of my theme song.
Jane says,
I wonder what they think of us. And I was like, oh, that makes you think.
Also,
That
please recycle.
George, have you joined
But
the
end scene.
recycling?
End scene. So the next
Get to the rap. I want to hear the rap.
No, fuck.
There's so many things to this
God,
because
this
it's like we
movie
have to
keeps
follow so many of the
Okay.
all of the family does something.
George gets to
his job.
Yeah,
and
the car makes love to him. It's crazy.
And that never resolves itself. The car, like he has a talking car.
Yeah.
That we never see.
That we never
again.
see
From
again.
Space Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, it's like Benny the Cab, but lifeless.
I'm ready to take you to work, George. Don't you love work?
What? Your face is looking horrible. Let me shave it. You're wearing your PJs. That's not appropriate. Let me just.
I'm touching you, George.
You really just can't get out of those cars.
This is your family. You didn't say goodbye to them.
Oh yeah, they just like leaves. Well, first he gets crushed in the bed, and then
That's right. Which is where I wish the film had ended.
and then the credits roll.
Smashed to black.
But he's off to work. Elroy is off to his new school, which he meets like a little robot child who's
Teddy
the child
Teddy
Teddy
too?
too. Yeah,
too.
Teddy and
Voiced by...
Dana Hill.
Let's find out.
No. Yeah, Dana Hill. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, you may remember
Who's
from
Max on Goof Troop.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's like some sort of rivalry between them because I guess Elroy was
A very forced rivalry.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna do this move. It's called the up and down and something through, and then the robot reaches it, cheats, by the way. Like, he reaches its robot arm to grab the basketball and then goes like, ha, I win, and then that's the scene. And then Elroy's like, God, I don't like it here. I fucking hate you, Dad. That's when he gets upset with his dad.
When he loses, because he wins back on.
Yeah.
Is it Earth? I don't know.
I guess it's
Jetsons.
Where do the Jetsons live?
Burbank. I guarantee it.
They're above
wait!
us right now.
It is Earth because
Yes,
they go to a
yes.
really
Yeah, they go back
crappy
to Earth.
CG model of the Earth.
They live on Earth. It's a wonderful planet.
So yes, and then Judy and Jane go to the mall with the robot,
Robot wife.
Lucy too, robot wife. I love you, robot wife.
Does not compute.
And then they go to the mall, and then Judy just kind of goes off on her own, and then she has like her sad moment,
There's
her
like
sad song.
There's
where
a weird like lovers lane in the mall.
yeah,
And not
she's
only
saying-
that, but it turns into some weird like. It looks like the pastoral from Fantasia, just like colored weird pastel.
If you were trapped in a tube while it was happening.
There's a rainbow fountain, and there's couples of all kinds.
things.
It's just
There's, like,
making out right
Pink
there.
dog, two blue squirrels at the
Oh,
top of the
that's right.
screen.
This is like Reputation Road for like
There's a couple
space
that gets
teens.
scared by a butterfly.
Oh yeah, the couple that's made of like
They were supposed to
pink
be
gum.
extinct.
Yeah.
I thought we killed him off.
And then she ends up meeting this fucking Captain Planet.
Yeah,
The worst design.
He looks like Captain Planet, only he's split in the middle.
He
One
looks
side
like
is
Captain Planet and the Jolly Green Giant.
combined into like this. He's like a Chuck
Into
Jones,
a
and he's got like the
monster.
Chuck Jones eyelash.
yeah. His name is Apollo Blue,
Fuck
and that's like
everything. I hate Apollo Blue.
yeah. He Apollo Blue. Yeah, he looks immediately like Captain Planet.
Yeah.
And
With
he's
long
just
hair.
and he has like the same smile. He has never changed his expression the entire
This is
time he
true.
was there. And he
Even
is,
when there's danger.
he is he bumps into Judy and he's like constantly smiling, and then he immediately calls her pumpkin.
Yeah.
Even like they
Which is an
haven't.
insult on that planet.
So what should I call you,
Wow.
pumpkin face?
Wow, he called me pumpkin.
Yeah. So they instantly form a relationship, and
Of
who the
some
hell cares?
kind.
And then it's like the opening of this new station that George is there.
Oh, God.
All his family are
Wait,
cheering.
wait.
Wait, what did I miss?
The rap.
The rap. Oh, the Sprocket rap.
I don't know if you can call it a rap so much as spoken word.
You know, you deny it, but you know in your heart it's a rap.
No. I know they think
If
it's
there is a
rap.
beatbox, there is a rap in
No,
this
no, no,
movie,
no.
even though it's kind of crap.
No, you're doing
It's
a
the
rap.
Sprocket rocket
Yeah.
pocket
Jake,
in the mocket
you are
procket
doing a rap.
shocket.
What they do in the movie is an abomination.
Pop, lock, and
You got a
sprocket.
sprocket rocket
Yeah,
pocket in
we
the
gotta
sprocket
pop-
rocket pocket.
we gotta pop
sprocket
lock
rocket
this.
pocket. Maybe that's
And we're rocking and rolling and
maybe
rapping
that's where
and...
George had a stroke.
Oh no!
Zoe.
Zoe.
I'm so
Zoe.
sorry. It's just like the beat is so fucking
Well, I could tell that it wasn't him singing it. It was some.
I don't
other
think they
actor.
were recording.
I'm so sorry I said that. I'm not a monster, I swear.
It's all right. The rap is the real problem here.
Yes.
But yeah, they do it to this beatbox, which just does not fit at all because it just sounds like they're saying things.
Yeah.
And then they just put the music behind it to make it try to fit.
That is no. No.
Now we're getting into weird rap philosophy instead of talking about this godforsaken
Adam's family.
Yeah, Adam's family.
The rap at the end of the movie is a rap.
Thanks, XXL.
The rap and
Oh yeah, they do the Jetsons theme, but as a rap.
Jetsons family.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting distracted.
Adam's family.
It sounds like the Donkey Kong rap from Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it does. He's a leader of the DK crew.
We should back on target.
Yeah.
Granddad?
So, Granddad. Granddad.
Oh, so they have a big opening for this new
If
plant.
by big you mean only the people they know.
Only immediate family
Only
members
immediate
and board
family.
members.
And Apollo Blue, why not? No, wait, no, he's not there.
Yeah.
No, but
He's not there, but they're all like cheering him on, except for Elroy, who's giving him like
The stink eye.
the stink eye. Yeah.
Fucking piece of...
Elroy, why can't you support your father just a little bit?
Okay.
I can't play basketball and I hate my dad.
God, what a little
he
shit.
does like a villain clap.
Limp.
Well done, father. Soon I will take over the family.
As if he's petting an invisible evil cat.
I guess we'll eat tonight.
So they almost get to the millionth sprocket that day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it like goes kaput because the little munchkin
scrunchies.
monsters, the scrunchies, yeah.
The
they
charcoals.
They destroy it, but they don't know this
Ewoks.
yet. They just know things go crazy, and even the action in this movie is kind of subdued. It's like things are happening and it's supposed to be very like
Threatening.
and you hear like the music.
Thanks, Sean.
John Debney.
Oh yeah.
score.
Ooh.
And it's like, and there's just like these moments where George is just kind of in place and he's like dodging sprockets and then
He's
his
rolling on a sprocket, his fingers
get caught. And
You're never quite sure, is he in danger? Is he in pain? Yeah, he's in pain.
no,
That's-
he's in
set
pain.
up to
You
be-
find out because he has bandages
Yeah.
and they like grow in size.
As it's fading out, I think it becomes bigger than he is.
It does, and it bursts, and bones just.
Oh, and then
There's so much realistic blood.
Elroy saves Teddy too.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
then they're
they're saved by
suddenly
the-
friends.
Yeah, it's like, you saved me, Elroy. Yeah, whatever.
And they're millennials, so they all get medals for doing it.
Oh yeah, it's like, Mom, can I stay with Elroy because he saved my life?
Well, I don't know. As
she's oiling him.
Looks like she's giving him a heroin.
But either way, George is like he's determined. He wants this vice president job. He's like, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna press the button, and I'm going to be vice president.
I hate the animation, the weird lead up into him pressing buttons because you know that they were trying to be over the top.
Oh yeah, because it's
But
like
they're
it's
so neutered.
it's such a small. I mean, the idea of it is pretty funny. It's like it's such a minuscule task, and he's making a big deal out of
The
it.
idea
and then
is-
after
A metaphor for the entire film.
and after that,
Oh.
one of the scariest fucking things that happens in this whole movie. So they try to set up the plant again, and it malfunctions again. The pawpaws ruin it for him.
Yeah, the
Like,
pawpaws.
those little things.
The Tom Tom Club.
Yeah, the shirt tails with no shirts come running out, and George gets
Quickie koalas.
George gets
What
sucked-
else? What else can we do
The
here?
Scare Bears.
George gets sucked into a sprocket packaging machine, lands on the ground, and then suddenly, like, it looks like the prize wall from What Would You Do?
Oh yeah,
It
that's what we were.
appears out of
It just looks like
nowhere.
out of nowhere. You see a million little boxes.
They're
little
like
screens.
they're like shoebox shelves.
They look like cuppies
with the
that you stick your
heads
shoes in at
of
a-
Spacely on each one.
It's a
like
cut rate max headroom.
yeah.
Jetson.
Jetson. You're not doing your job.
Oh, and then after that, I think it's after that we come up on probably the best thing in this whole movie.
Yin and yang.
Is that what it's called?
No, I just mean like we've gone from the worst, but now
The best.
the best.
Yeah.
You never saw the sequence coming.
There's another like love sequence between Judy and this Apollo Blue, which becomes the most centerpiece 80s music video I have ever seen, and it is so well done.
Look on Wikipedia for Memphis style if you want an idea.
It's basically from the 90s and late 80s, the squiggles on color with shapes,
and it's really well done.
Oh my god!
I love the sequence.
It's like you know the music
Take on Me.
Take on me. You know that sequence, the animation. Yeah, it's like that, and then they just take bits and pieces from every kind of music video and just combine it into this beautiful sequence.
It's this film's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Oh god!
Yeah.
Suddenly I ruined
But it's a great sequence, true. And then right when you cut back to Judy's face,
then it goes back to Judy.
Movie. You're like, oh,
we're back.
A dinosaur story.
I do believe that there has to be a "We're Back, a Dinosaur Story" joke in every podcast that we've done since "We're Back, a Dinosaur Story." It
just worms its way.
It just
into
happens.
Your heart, like a
George
heartworm.
Jetson goes to a planet with the pawpaws and fights the monsters and eats the brain-grain cereal and evil dinosaurs again.
And that's the way.
And then he has to get the sprockets.
But they don't want the sprockets, but the monster.
The brain-grain.
Be a vice. Oh man.
Let no bad happen.
Be a vice president, George.
Yeah. So anyway, George basically tries again, but this time it's like at night.
He gets
where he's
kidnapped.
and he gets kidnapped by the pawpaws, and and
I just hate them.
Then the robot comes in and like picks up the knife or the
flashlight.
It's a flashlight that looks like a knife.
Yeah, it looks like a blunt object that could probably like shank someone with. You know, it's like
what would
very
have been
sharp.
Awesome
what
if he was like George's flashlight and he's running around looking for him and he runs into George.
It's like Oh God, Rudy, what did you do? God, there's blood everywhere.
Go sleep, Vice President. Rudy is the reason there's
sleep,
none.
George. Go to sleep.
He goes up to George, covers his mouth. Shh. Only dreams now, George.
Dream of sprockets.
And then Elroy comes in and
wait.
It's like,
sorry.
Oh my God, Dad, I'm so sorry. I was so mad at you about the basketball game.
Why was I so mad?
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Elroy. Stop it.
I should have been there.
I should have been there.
George, you still have time to join the recycling.
I don't think George has met half of those characters. Like, they all show up to admonish him.
George is really disconnected from his family, which is actually the point.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's, all right. So George basically gets kidnapped, yes. And then the robot Rudy, too, the other worker that works with him, comes up to Jane and asks, like, have you seen George? Like, no, he's at the plant. And it's like, no, he's not. And then Elroy.
One of the greatest shots in the movie is like Elroy and Teddy 2 are gonna play detective, and they tell Astro not to tell anyone.
Yeah,
and they go off, and at one point,
Fergie, without even like announcing. Without even announcing this character entering, it's like they have just finished saying like, no, Astro, don't tell anyone. And then Fergie just walks in and it's like, you too, Fergie, you can't come. Immediately while walking does a U-turn and starts crying. And it's like, hi Fergie, bye Fergie.
It is literally like this shot from The Simpsons
with Abe Simpson, with Grandpa Simpson,
seeing his son. He
sees Bart.
Son.
Yeah,
he sees Bart.
Turns
her. It's me, your cousin, Bart.
But yeah, it's like it's a great sequence because it's like
It's my favorite piece of animation.
Listen, the first time we've ever seen Fergie, this is the second appearance of Fergie in the entire movie. So it's just like, since then, that is the only time that they've ever seen Fergie. And if Fergie comes in, it's like, no, Fergie, you can't come too.
It's like, Fergie was created. Why?
Fergie was created to tell not to come.
It's almost like Fergie's trying to be in the movie, and they're telling.
Doesn't this film have too many tiny fuzzy chum-chums?
God damn it! Yeah.
They could have just stopped with the robot kid, because the robot kid does more than anything. I mean, they have more purpose than these stupid like Grinch people.
It's so weird because like Fergie talks to the little creatures, but then Teddy translates them.
Yeah, there's no resolution. I guess they implied that Fergie knew about these creatures or something.
Did they really?
But it was like, no, there was really no purpose to Fergie. It was just kind of like, no, Fergie.
Fergie is Gurgie.
Gurgie, you're right.
Fergie is Gurgie.
I couldn't even find Fergie dolls on eBay.
And crunchings.
Except it's like.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like that, like webby.
Thanks, Frank.
Webby giggling, like that precocious.
And speaking of precocious,
oh wait, Judy and Apollo 2 are about to make out.
Oh yeah.
And their mom and her
They're
mom
about
calls.
to do it.
Their lips make contact.
She's about to. He's about to. And then Jane
she's about
to. And then he's about to put the you know what.
Jane cock blocks Judy. Let's just say it.
Hello, you two.
Where's your brother?
Enough with the hanky panky.
Is your brother with you? I sure hope not.
Yeah.
Is your brother on your date with you?
And then she basically says like, well, you better get over here and start looking for us.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's that scene where she goes like, ugh.
Oh. God.
I knew you would understand. Yeah, that close up shot of Jane, just kind of like, I knew you'd understand.
It's like,
why is she turning to Carol Channing?
Oh, Judy.
Yes.
Yeah, growing up so fast.
It's like, Jane, why don't you look for your own son that you've lost track of?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
Yeah, but
don't send your mutant children to look.
But this
for
is basically to get like those two with Elroy
Yes.
before the rest find him,
Yeah.
and it's just like, Elroy, where have you been? And then Apollo also looks like with a smile, like upset.
Maybe he's just having a really good time.
It's like
he's a very
man, things were boring before your family came by. God, that guy's design creeps me the hell out. He's like,
Did he
he's
not
seriously
have an expression sheet?
He's seriously Two-Faced, but only like he's two colors. He's like green and blue. Looks like Captain Planet, constantly having a smile, and it's like he's supposed to be like this dreamy teen, but he looks like really creepy. He doesn't look like like someone like a teenager would
have
find
been really
attractive.
interesting was that just if it was a movie about George and Jane just not into just like two different races of aliens dating each other. Judy, we don't approve of you dating this half blue green thing.
Well, I made this joke that he was actually his own brother, where he was like he's like actually two people in one.
One side only blinks.
That was another thing. We were
and
saying
the other side never tells the truth.
But like Judy has like this thing for people with troll doll hair.
Oh my God, it's true.
First, the Cosmic Osmo guy has like this huge
Cosmic Cosmo.
It makes sense because she herself has troll doll hair.
Terrible.
Yes.
She's
awful.
No.
White Pebbles Flintstone.
Yeah,
hair.
she has the Pebbles hair, like the little like if she didn't instead of the bone, it's just like this weird black line.
It's the samurai. It's the Samurai Jack like twist tie. Whatever it is.
Which makes Samurai Jack even better. He's got Judy Jetson's hair.
So anyway, we're gonna try to keep moving along with this.
Really hard.
So
we're almost at the end.
So they find out that these Ewoks have basically
Let's call them what they are.
Yes, they're Ewoks.
They're chupacabras.
They live in this underground area below the factory, and it's like, oh no, we're destroying their home.
And
it's
dramatic.
Like, thank you. That's the message we have brought into this, and so anyway, the whole family is together now in this cavern. And then Spacely is there because he was upset that, he doesn't know what's going on. He says, like, I'm going down there and I'm gonna show them give me the cheapest flight. And we have like these shots every once in a while where he's in like this
crushed by two donut eating monsters.
Man, I want donuts again.
Oh God, don't talk about donuts right now. It's just, I just got like this entire week has been nothing but donuts.
Why didn't you bring us donuts?
You got your pizza.
Why didn't you get us donuts with the pizza? Thank you for the pizza.
You look good. You look good, really.
But anyway, so yeah, now that Spacely is there, he's getting upset. He rips the robot's chest open.
Oh, it's terrifying.
And presses the button for the factory to go on, and then we have like this scene where all of the Ewoks are basically panicking now because and we're just like, yes, destroy them, destroy these things. Like we hate them. They look really bad. They really terrible.
The ground opens up, and I've never wanted animals to fall in a hole so much.
Oh, you were crying. You wanted blood.
They were narrowly avoiding dying.
We forgot to talk about the weird intervention with George.
Yeah.
He's tied up, and he's like,
right.
I gotta worry about my job. No, George, think about what's really important here.
You've been thinking about yourself, not the family. But it's a job. I need to pay for my family. What is wrong with you,
Jane? What the fuck do? You do your recycling.
Why don't
Judy, you steal my money. Elroy, you're worthless. And Astro, I love you.
And they run off into the sunset together.
I love you too, George.
I love you, Roy. That's actually the last line in the credits.
Oh, it's so creepy.
I love you, Roy.
Oh God.
But yeah, they're like all
Answering
panicking,
machine.
and the rocks fall on Elroy and this one Ewok. So then all of a sudden, all of the Ewoks start going over there. The place is still rumbling, by the way. And they're like, they're taking the rocks away, and then they go inside, and like people coming out of a coal mine.
Yes.
They drag Elroy out.
When Elroy looks out, he looks like Mickey Rooney.
He's so miserable.
He looks really bad. And then they all cheer, and the place is still rumbling.
Your homes are still being destroyed.
We've got to stop this. So they go upstairs to see Spacely and says, like, you're doing a bad thing, Spacely.
I think at one point he calls him a shit gibbon.
No, yeah, he says he's like a money grubbing so-and-so.
Lying goat.
Lying goat, yeah.
And then he implies he knew about the aliens, which might have been interesting, but...
Yeah, it's like he knew, but they're useless.
You know what you were
yes,
doing.
and it was like, that was a great line. Just like, but they're useless.
He called the aliens useless.
There's never any
They
resolve.
don't do anything.
There's never any resolve, really, for Spacely.
But then George says, like, they're not useless. They saved my boy after we destroyed everything.
And then he's like, I gotta stop this thing.
And so
he goes in this weird. There's a scene where he gets sucked. He jumps up through a tube.
He's in
and he goes
every
through these
Bunsen
weird.
Here we
burner
go.
you've ever seen.
And then probably the single greatest shot in animated history. He goes
Picture,
to this whole
if you will.
machine. Picture, if you will. There's a little hole. And it says, please do not stick your finger in this hole.
It says that. There's a sign. We hold
There is
the
an
sign.
actual sign that says this.
Please do not stick your finger in this hole. And then George leans in, looks at the camera, and like waggles his eyebrow. And you hear like really tense music in the background.
And he just sticks his finger in the hole.
And it's
just
a really
goes right in there.
It's a really anticlimactic.
He really puts it in there.
And it's really
plugs up.
It really is.
Yeah, it's an anticlimactic explosion, but it's an explosion that you would think like, oh God, George, are you okay?
George is very okay. George is like, it's weird. He went on this whole...
And then he sniffed his finger.
Smells like gasoline.
That's the smell of victory.
Smell it, Elroy.
Smell it, Elroy. Smell it. No, Dad, not again.
Smell my finger, Elroy.
I want
Smell
t-shirts.
my
Smell
finger.
it, Elroy.
Smell it, boy. Smell it.
I actually want a t-shirt now that says "Smell it, Elroy."
That's
no pictures. That's the word "Smell
that's
it,
like
Elroy."
that sounds like a band name.
Smell it,
You
Elroy.
could take a drawing of his finger because he does this all the time where he points up.
Oh yeah, he
and just
does
put
do
up.
that point up finger a lot. But yeah, anyway, George saves the day, and then all of a sudden it's like they're like, "Wait a minute, maybe we can make a compromise." And now those little Ewoks are running the factory.
They're slave laborers.
I don't know what.
Are they still destroying their homes, or are they just recycling old sprockets?
They're recycling old sprockets, but it does how can there be that?
And they've
many?
doubled production.
Oh God.
Yeah, I guess. And then Spacely's just there's like, all right, you can have your job back.
You're lucky I'm having you.
And then he leaves. And that's the end of him. It's just like he just kind of like
gone.
walks off, and that's it. That's it from Spacely.
He walks into a corner and just stares against the wall for the rest of the sequence, just off screen.
Spacely
Hello,
deactivated.
darkness, my old friend.
It's like he's having a crisis.
Where
in the
did my
corner.
life go? What have I become?
My sweet
George,
friend.
if only you knew why I really wouldn't let you go.
So they say goodbye to everybody, and then they leave.
Oh, George, my love.
Oh my love.
But yeah, everything is resolved. But then they says like, "Oh, I got my old job back, and we have to move back." Yes. And there are these touching moments where there is like,
Can I steal your basketball move?
yeah, they're all like, "Hey, Elroy, can I steal your basketball?" Like, no.
Yeah, some gonna did me.
It's like, what was
Well,
it?
And then,
bye.
and then at one point he's like, maybe we'll be on the same team together
But we
someday.
were.
And then he says, but we were, and we won. And then I'm like, so no. He's saying essentially, right?
That was it. It's as good as it
And
gets.
then Apollo Blue goes up to Judy and says like, "So I guess you're never gonna see me again." It's like, well, here's a beta tape of the song that I made you. Why don't you give it to Cosmic Cosmo?
It was a long con.
I know. That's why he never changed his expression.
Oh wow!
He's trying to be
A perfect gentleman.
disgusting.
Yeah.
The
Jane
fuzzies are there. The
Jane just
robots
says,
are there.
"Oh, George," and then that's it. And then they go home.
I don't know why I thought of this immediately, but I want to somehow edit out the eyebrow waggling George Jetson and just somehow insert it into other movies.
Well, I mean,
Which other movies?
Like The Shining during the bear oral sex scene. And when they get up and then you just see outside the corner of the doorway he leans in and like waggles his eyebrow.
I also want to call attention to the last weird swinging car shot where they're in space and it's sort of like they're not expressing and then the car flips. And I'm not sure what to feel.
It does a barrel roll.
George dropped his coffee on his lap. Oh, God, Jane! My crotch is melted into my thigh.
George, we can recycle that.
In loving memory of right after that line.
Oh, yeah, in loving memory
Oh,
of...
God.
What have we learned?
Well, then there's the actual rap. It's like
the
Jetson
actual
rap.
Jetson rap.
And then
This movie sucked!
But it ends on, "I love you, George." That's why Astro, I guess.
Yeah, that...
I love you.
We haven't really talked about Astro's role in this.
Astro has no role in this movie.
He does have one.
He sniffs out
He has-
boy.
he-
Points at a plant.
He sniffs out boy. Wait,
Go, Astro! Sniff out, boy!
Find me fresh boy.
We like
God,
boy!
Jake,
what
not
about
again.
the bounce he does?
Oh yeah,
Bring me
his Pluto,
Pluto bounce.
run.
It's
That
like,
just like sweeps his like
it's
forepaws.
too fast and it's unnerving.
Yeah.
What a great movie.
This movie.
Ugh.
Listen, if I have to tell,
4 out of 4 stars.
4 out of 4 sprockets.
all right, maybe we should give out our individual reviews. Like, do you want to start or do you want to
Why is everyone
go around the
looking at
room?
me? I want to go around the room.
All right, Jake, what is your
What
final
was the
consensus
episode
about this one?
around
This
for?
was a great Hanna-Barbera movie and a disappointing movie otherwise.
Yeah,
This is about, this is a very low bar. they touched the bar, but the bar was low.
Yeah, this does. I mean, it doesn't feel like a theatrical movie
Not
at all.
It was a TV movie that
Got onto the big screen. Yeah. It's like Jungle Book 2. It's like
nothing about the future feels futuristic. Nothing about the comedy feels that comedic. It's sort of just
it's like a regular episodes of the Jetsons. It's like
they didn't push it.
No,
and sometimes the thing about Hanna-Barbera characters is that 9 times out of 10, when you make their animation more fluid, it actually is a detriment to the design to the characters.
Kind of is, yeah.
They're each every character has shadows on them.
Well, we should mention that the main character designer Iwao Takamoto, right?
Iwao,
Iwao, yeah. Listen. He is a fantastic illustrator. I love he's a great designer. The thing is like I feel that his character designs, once you move them, it's like there's like a weird, like you have to really break that great illustration to kind of make it work. So really it's like I love his designs and I love everything about him. It's just like I feel there's a
lot of that in animation today where it's like great design, but try to make the fucker move.
It's tough to translate it, as something that should move.
Try to make that. What was the boyfriend's name?
Apollo
Blue. So many fucking lines. Appalling Blue. Like yeah, that was actually really good.
Good one.
But just to animate like characters divided in half with extra lines and shit, and then doing highlights.
Oh, there was a lot of moments where I saw lines going through things,
like the cell layers were off, and
Oh, how about how Judy had a belt and then she didn't have a belt?
Yeah, there was a moment I could have swore she had a belt because you mentioned something that is like
we have to go back and watch it.
You were asking, it's like, does she have a dress over her, like,
she had this
pants?
Weird, like, it was a skirt, but then there was a line in the middle, so it looks like maybe it was shorts.
And I looked in that scene, and I was like, oh, she's wearing a belt, so it could have been a dress. That was like, but then it was like, the next scene is like, wait a minute, no, it's a midriff. So really, it was like...
Scene deleted.
Huh? Yeah.
As we agreed, Cosmic Cosmo has a collection of belts.
But this movie, I'm not a fan.
Zoe?
Well, I think it's best summarized. This film was available on Netflix around December, November, and I watched it because I had a late night for work. And I'm like, and I contacted Michael immediately the next day, like, oh my god, we have to do the Jetsons movie.
This seems like the kind of film that never goes off Netflix.
My opinion, having watched it in full with friends, there's so many good stories that could have actually come out of this. We've even pointed out the murder mysteries, the love triangles, the
interracial dating between aliens and Judy Jetson.
But there are so, like, even with the story...
I don't want you dating that Apollo Blue.
I don't like him. He has 2 sides, 2 faces.
He has one too many faces.
Have you seen his hairstyle? It's so lackluster, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it tried to be so fantastic with the CG and...
It starts off like very epic, like the Jetsons theme. It's like da 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 da. It's like you expect like this big grand thing, and then you look at it and it's like, oh.
The biggest letdown to me, I think, is you actually could have had a really intense story, and it would have been environmental if we had just focused on, there is so much smog on the earth. What if we did something about it?
Yeah.
What if we went...
Why did it have to be in space?
The thing is like, it's not even that environmentally...
No.
No, it's half-hearted.
Yeah,
I'm so disappointed because the opening is actually it's a great setup.
Yeah, that has more thought to it than the rest of the movie. That's just like
once they get to the station or wherever it is, it's like I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I hate these.
But there's a mall.
Well, just like
there's a mall, yeah. But
a mall.
Do what I have to say about this movie?
What?
That shot of George sticking his finger in the hole and waggling his finger. That to me is that whole movie to me. Like the hole is me, and the Jetson movie is George waggling his eyebrows because I feel that it's just so.
You mean
someone went in and like,
good night, everybody.
I'm a whole of what was once a person.
This film is deflated.
It's just so it's a very half-assed idea, half-executed.
I love that music video though.
That's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, that is the best part of the movie.
What is Michigan? What is it called?
The Michigan Rack. It's Memphis style.
Memphis style.
Like Memphis, Tennessee.
Comes from Italy.
When I think of Memphis, I don't really think of that style.
Is it from the UK or
Italy?
Oh, that's
all right. So Italy, Memphis.
Memphis, Italy.
Ruocco's modern.
We're putting Memphasis on this podcast.
Anyway, yeah, that I guess that's our review of the Jetsons movie.
Skip to halfway through, then turn it off. And waggle your eyebrows.
Yeah.
Watch the first 10 minutes and then turn it off because it's not worth it.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't really recommend this movie either.
No, things happen. Why?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a very positive thing
We could
to
sit
get
here.
from
We
this.
could literally sit here for 2 more hours and come up with 40, 50 better ideas.
We
for
wouldn't
Jetson
even
movie
need
than this
2
one is.
hours. 45 minutes.
Well, we could think of better episodes from the actual show that are better than this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but they did it
for a movie. Like nothing happens.
Yeah. And I don't want to blame this movie for killing off Bill Blank and
But
I can think of one good thing to say. They made a movie about the Jetsons so good, we'll never make another.
oh, what?
and well,
That's it.
well,
It was so good. It was an opus.
so yeah, that's the Jetsons movie.
Sorry.
Zoe,
I regret.
Zoe, do you want to plug anything from yourself that you were on?
You want to plug a hole with your finger?
You want George to come plug the hole?
I am very tired. I need to sleep.
Yeah.
I want to plug thank you for the pizza.
Well, all right.
And if you want to find me on the internet, you
Yeah.
can go on the Instagram. I think I'm Zoe Moss
Art.
Thank you. On Twitter, I'm Zoe Moss Art, I think. And brainfarto.tumblr.com and
Yes.
brainfarto.com. And
Are you still doing Pizza Day comics?
we're on a little bit of we're on hiatus, but it still exists. One day we will pick it up.
We're on hiatus for a very good reason, though.
Wah, wah.
We're coming up with all these ideas for things that might happen.
One
so
day.
one
Yeah,
day,
there are things be cooking.
can't say more than that.
Yeah, so whatever happens, it will involve our creative brains.
All right.
Jacob here. Follow me on Twitter at Jake Strick, Strick. I love Overwatch and long walks on the beach.
I love Overwatch on the beach.
Ooh, kinky.
I like Overbeach on the watch.
What did you call me?
Who's been overwatching my beach?
What'd you say about my beach?
This is a private.
This is over.
This is a private beach.
Mike, tell me what you're doing.
I'm starting work again.
Mike, you only think about yourself.
Hey,
Do you love your family?
The way you said that, it sounded like, do you love your family? It would be a shame if something happened to them.
Mike, are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter. I'm at a guy who draws. And if you follow me, you could see me post horrible scenes from, like, the other day I posted I said this run of Tiger from 5 Goes West gives me life.
right.
And it's him like,
He does a dance in midair for a second.
oh.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't he running with his arms up?
Yeah,
the
he
whole
runs
time?
with his arms up.
He does a Ghibli run.
Dogs!
Yeah. I am also on Twitter. I'm at AWDTwit. That's probably where you can find out most information about everything that I do. I have changed my Patreon. I am now focused on my Gear Bunny project, which is going to be a animation/video game thing. So if you'd like to go to patreon.com/AWD, you can go there and find more stuff about that. And also, all money that goes onto that site is also money that goes into the podcast, which helps us out. Like, I got new mics.
Yay!
I mean, microphones, not a new mic. Mic's the same as always.
Yeah, same old mic.
Same old mic.
Apollo Mike Blue. There's 2 mics.
I'm
appalling mic.
And also, if you want to find out more about the show when new episodes come up, or give us comments and stuff like that, you can go on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/animatedanarchycast. That's probably the most likely place you can get in touch with us about anything you want. There's also, I still have the P.O. Box if you want to send us stuff, but you don't have to. It's P.O. Box 10852, Burbank, California, 91510, but we don't get anything, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. But you could be the first.
And, of course, we are on iTunes and Stitcher. Please give us a favorable review. That helps spread around our podcast. It spreads joy among the rest of the world.
The
about
Jetsons gospel.
If you'd like to know more about the word of George, seriously, iTunes, Stitcher is probably the best place to go, where you can follow our podcast and give us 5 stars and stuff like that. And
the joy of Elroy.
The
Smell it, Elroy.
The Elroys of cooking.
His joy, Elroy. He's not my joy. It's a little shit. I don't like Elroy.
I love you, George. If you hear that
Astro, get off my bed.
I feel like if you hear "I love you," that coming from a dark room.
I love you, Dad.
I want that meatball.
Oh my God! It sounds like the dog's trying to say something. Say something, Astro.
Oh, George. George, you always think the dog is talking.
But he is. He's saying something. Look, that dog. Say something.
Oh, George. Yeah, dear. I don't know what anyone sounds like.
Yeah.
I hate you, Dad.
Oh, totally. Cosmic.
Oh, yeah, we didn't mention the amount of times that Tiffany
There were
said,
so many words that were made up and terrible.
Reaganomics.
That would have been...
That was made up, and it was terrible.
Space Reagan.
If this film had been about Space Reagan.
Well,
Oh, no, Dad.
Well,
it's
George.
Space Reagan.
well, it just floats away.
Tear down this space wall.
George, go talk to Space Reagan. Talk sense into him.
I don't think anyone can take any sense into him. So anyway, yes, this has been Animated Anarchy. I'm Andrew.
Mike, the host.
And with our guests...
Zoe, his wife.
And I'm Jake.
What was that?
And I'm Jake.
It's Astro, the dog.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
If there is a next time after.
Oh.
Good. Bye-bye.
Get the lost.
Testing.
That was my mouth.
That's good.
Hold on, I don't have headphones in.
You don't have headphones in?
You put your headphones in.
You put your headphones out. You put your headphones in and you shake them all about. You do the hokey pokey and you
Do
turn
I notice,
yourself
guys?
around.
Should I move this one closer to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do what I noticed? Certain things sound funnier if you sound like an old-timey gangster.
Like
So
what?
Like Russia and Trump have ties together. See?
See? Like somebody once told me the world's gonna roll me.
Ah. Yeah, see?
Somebody once told me.
Please save that. That would be our ending button.
All right, I'm keeping that.
Yes, please.
But I'm giggling like a jackal.
Wait, can you do the two?
If you want to move it closer to you or something, I hope is it pointing toward you. By the way,
Can you do the Tuvin sound?
yeah, that one's kind of.
You mean like Tuvin?
That one's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Like a.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
I think is my mic up or down? I can't really hear myself.
From side to side, come on, it's time to go.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. It's my head.
Whoa.
Oh, there we go. Ooh, I'm sorry.
No, I think it was.
Everyone's doing the Brad
I can kind
Garrett.
of now. I
Oh,
can hear.
there we go. It was on -10.
What?
That was on -10.
Let's see. Can't.
Oh, I was at 0.
Are you on 0? That's good.
I was on 0.
Somebody.
Now we can hear
Okay.
you.
I can't hear. Can you raise
can
my?
hear
Can
you.
you raise my headphones?
Are yours not loud?
No, I can't really hear myself. I can't hear myself.
Hello.
It's
Hello,
me.
my baby. Hello, my mom.
Hello, my ragtime gal.
I can hear it.
Fine.
I can hear it.
Maybe because I'm partially deaf from hearing Tuvin throat singing on THX.
Okay, I'll start it off.
Okay.
Happy
So-
birthday to you.
The outtakes are going to be nothing but throat sounds. George.
George. I wish my brother George were here.
I wish my brother George were here.
God dang it.
Okay, we just peaked the mic there.
I see just a solid blue.
I just peeked myself.
I peeked myself.
Would you like? Do you need a change of pants?
Would I?
Can't believe it.
I know what I want for Christmas.
All
What?
right.
Rubber pants.
Good night, everybody.
Oh.
This has been 20 minutes.
All right.
These are wonderful days. It turned into a, what is it?
This is the moment everyone just turns off the podcast.
I love this turned into like a Jerry Colonna bit. Like you just hear. It just keeps
Oklahoma, where the winds come whistling to the plain.
And
It's
The outlook wasn't good for the month of 9 that day.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. So, Jacob or Jake Strick?
Wow, can we start over? Cause
No, seriously. I haven't even started. I'm just asking you. It's like,
excuse me,
it's like, no, this is the cold opening. So,
Jacob?
Jake or Jacob Strick?
Jacob's R word.
So, Jorge.
You can call me Jacob.
All right.
Eddie Baby, would you? I don't like being called Eddie Baby. Did I call you Eddie Baby?
Headley.
So,
Holy underwear.
just for that, I'm going to call you George.
But I can't say Sylvester George.
But I can't say.
All right.
All right, are we ready? Are we ready?
Wait till
Can
Zoe
we...
calls.
So, would you like a minute?
I'd like a mint.
The movie was that good.
Where's the box, by the way? Who has the box?
I left it outside because I needed reference. for how
That's
to draw.
fine.
Reference.
I don't think we need it.
I need to draw.
sure?
Well, actually, no.
I feel like I need to look at the box in order to remember what the hell happened.
What? All the box shows is that they're flying in space in their car.
That's all you really
You
need
don't
to
see
know
the,
about
you don't
the movie.
see the
anyway.
Ewoks. You don't see the.
Ladies and
The
gentlemen,
Manchi
we are
cheese.
now floating in
not to be
space.
the one, but he's totally Heiling Hitler.
Oh my God, he is.
Heil
Hi,
Hitler.
honey.
More like George Bannon, if
Did
I'm
you-
right.
Meet George Bannon.
Heil. Can we
Doesn't have a wife.
Cuck.
Kellyanne
Did you
Conway.
know? Did you know there was a sitcom called Heil Honey, and it was.
Oh, yeah.
And it was basically it was like the sitcom for Hitler,
Yeah.
and it was It was kind of like I don't want to compare it to that
ahead of
That's
its
My
time?
Bush show because it was out in like the 80s, I think, right? Yeah. So
Heil myself, heil to me.
anyway, random
Random
Nazi information.
That's gonna fall over in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's good.
It's what it deserves.
It's better that way.
All right, let's get started.
Let's start.